Hi everyone, welcome to the June garden tour. It's been about 4 weeks or more since the May garden tour, and the garden has changed a lot. We've had lots of rain, a few storms. I'm really excited to show you what is currently growing in the garden, what is blooming, what I'm going to be doing next, and how everything has changed over the past couple of weeks. Today we'll be starting here in the mixed border where many things are currently growing and blooming. It's been quite exciting and interesting to see all the things coming up. The border, you may remember, it's a mix of things that I collected from my old border that I used to have in the backyard, as well as many things that I started from seeds, but also a few plants that I got from the garden center, bare roots. So very prominent right now in the border here, you notice the phantom hydrangeas, which are coming up, are looking beautiful right now. I have all the gladiolus coming up at the moment. I have lots of echinaceas, the purpura, as well as other varieties that are beginning to flower, to bloom. I've added a few grasses here, like the purple fountain grass, which is coming up. The gay feathers are currently preparing to put on a show. I think they'll look really interesting. Also in the border here right now, quite interesting to see is this beautiful white daisy that I have here. I have a few hostas. So with the two strong winds that we had 2 nights in a row, most of the plants and the blooms have fallen off, like on this rose right here. But you can see that there's still some buds on it and new stems popping up. So I'm sure we're going to have more blooms in the course of the season. The pink Annabelle hydrangea is looking glorious already. All those blooms coming up, really looking beautiful. Next we're going to be looking at the border in which I have the dahlias. They are blooming already, some of them. I've lost one, which was right here, which broke during the storms that we had, and I've put it there. I've collected it, put it in the container, and I hope it's going to still make new roots to be able to plant in the border. So some of the dahlias are doing really great. Some of them didn't come up that well and are still struggling to find their height, but it's looking quite promising. So also loving how the little lavender hedge is doing here. The New England asters are doing great. We've had a few that have fallen due to the strong winds that we had in the past couple of days. Now we'll look at the hydrangea border, in which I also have a few dahlias in containers, as well as one planted in the border itself. I'm going to be doing some maintenance on this border, on the hydrangea border, next week, and I'll be sharing details with you, more details with you on what is going to be changing. So the limelights, and this is the biggest of all the limelights that I have here, they are growing more than I had anticipated. I mean, when I added these containers here with the dahlias, we could see them clearly, and now the limelights have taken over. They've grown so beautifully bushy, and we can barely see the containers. But the dahlias back here, I did not stake them, and they've also suffered a lot from the strong winds that we had the past couple of days. However, they're still standing, and hopefully we can see the beautiful show that they're going to present in the next couple of days. So the limelights are looking gorgeous. The hydrangea arborescens, Annabelle hydrangea white, is also doing beautiful. You can see that they're struggling to stand, but I'm really happy with how they've grown. Now, before we take a look at the vegetable garden, I want to show you the containers by the roadside and also the sweet peas. So over here by the roadside, the limelight hydrangeas are looking beautiful. They've actually almost suppressed this container here, in which I have that maple tree and the petunias. However, the limelight hydrangeas here are looking beautiful, growing nicely. So you might remember that I planted some sweet peas in containers, and check out the blooms on that sweet peas. And the double wave petunias are also looking gorgeous. They have filled in nicely and the show is just beautiful. So now let's take a look at the vegetable garden over here. I do have a few beds right now which are empty. However, we do have lots of things to be harvesting next. You see that kohlrabi down there? That one looks quite ready for harvesting. Now here I do have a few tomatoes here, but also the eggplants. As you can see, the eggplants are putting on blooms that will become eggplants eventually. The peppers are also looking beautiful. Oh, look. Oh my gosh, this is the jalapeno pepper, and that is my first jalapeno pepper right there. This is the last planting that I did here with the Brussels sprout and some of the eggplants. The herbs are looking good, they're growing. I need to mulch that. But also the patty pan pumpkin here. See that one will be ready for harvesting soon. The marigolds all around the garden, they succeeded quite nicely. I find that it's a very easy bloomer to grow, which is nice. So these right here are all the snapdragons that I started from seed. Loving those blooms, and they're filling in nicely. So this was definitely a good idea. I would have wished, I wish I had put in a bit more to really fill up the space. But so far so good. This is looking gorgeous already. And what I just noticed when looking up on these trees, that I have a few new fig fruits that are being formed, that are forming up on this tree. I hope that the birds will not eat everything up and that we can have something at the end of the season. But check out those snapdragons, looking gorgeous. I wish that we had more colors in that mix, more varieties of colors. Alright, so now I'll say let's check out the backyard and the side yards and see what else is growing in the garden. So the beans garden over here on the north side of the garden is looking, well, the beans is doing great. What I also wanted to share with you is my comfrey ambitions back here. Some of you have shared that comfrey can be really invasive. And so I am starting it here in containers, and I'll think about where best to plant them next. What I forgot to share with you during the last garden tour was my zucchini container. So what happened is that I put all my zucchini seedlings in this container, and I was planning to kind of divide them. I guess we can say that there are more zucchini plants growing in here than there is space for them to develop properly. But I've been harvesting already, and right now I think it's too late to space them out or to take a few out anyways. So I'll just let them be. I'll feed them and then water them and hope that they just manage to produce. I also still have many things. I have many things still that I have not managed to plant yet. Some of them really need to be pruned. This is the backyard, and the shade is resting right here in the backyard right now, and all of these containers are in the shade, so the lighting is not the best and it's not as good as before when we were in the front yard. The row of mophead hydrangeas is struggling a bit. I wish at this time they were already a bit further in their growth and development as they are right now. There are a few that are already hinting at some blooms, and of course I failed at the attempt to make them blue because I haven't been consistent with the use of the hydrangea blue product that makes the hydrangeas blue. I also do have a few sunflowers here in the back. You can see that I have a bunch here growing nicely, some of which are already putting on some buds, and we should be seeing some sunflowers here really soon. New here in the backyard are these ground cover roses, Rosa di Ferri. I love the effect here. What I'm going to be adding in between where we have all the spaces is probably some lavender to complement and fill up the bed. So now to the vegetable garden here in the backyard. On this side, you'd notice that I also have sunflowers in the back of the asparagus. The asparagus have not been doing that well, I must say. I was expecting them to be a bit more bushier at this time of the year, a bit more taller. It's been a struggle watering everything here. The sunflowers are coming up nicely, and lots of weeds also growing here. The pear tree is not looking too bad after the storm, but also this container. This is the container in which I planted my sweet potato, and at first I thought they were not going to make it, but now I need to remove everything else in this container, including this beautiful marigold here, and just make space for that sweet potato to be able to develop properly and to reach its full maturity, because it's loving it in there. As you can see, it's spreading and spreading, and I cannot wait to see what we get at the end of the season. The pumpkin patch has also seen a few modifications, especially with the cabbages that I've had to remove or reduce. I did move them in other, over here for instance, and of course the snails have not been giving them any time to pick up and grow, so the snails have been eating on that. Oh, look at that, terrible. All right, the pumpkins are coming up nicely here. You can see that is the first one that we are having as a, so that's the first pumpkin there, and then the corn, the sweet corn as well, seems to be picking up now really nicely. The Brussels sprout over here has put on a lot of, it's looking great. I had to come in here and remove the bottom leaves because it was becoming too big for the space. So the row of potatoes also looking beautiful. The carrots, my second boy has been coming here and harvesting lots of carrots to eat as snacks already, but the carrots are looking great. I have a cayenne pepper, or a few cayenne peppers in this bed as well, which are going to be ripening up really soon. You can see lots of peppers on that. So the carrots are looking beautiful. The peppers as well, but also the shallots are not looking too bad. Of course, I've never grown shallots before, but this is what I see happening here. I'm going to keep observing that, hoping for all those onion bulbs to become bigger and larger, and that will have a good harvest. The leeks here is not looking too bad at all. Now this area here is in full shade and the lighting will not be as good, but the tomatoes here, I just want to show you quickly that I have my first tomato that is already changing color. So this is the indigo rose variety, and it's turning black or purple already. That one just, I broke it. The strawberry tower has also been producing. It's looked better since we had lots of rain, and there are more flowers now and even some fruits to be harvested. So the strawberries are finally picking up here and looking fantastic already. Look at the size of this tomato. Those are big ones. And the raspberries, they took a real beating during the storm, and you can see that I need to come here and do some proper staking on these raspberries. What I've noticed is that they've been producing a lot, but the fruits that we've been harvesting have been coming from the old canes. These are the new branches that developed this year, and they have not started putting on any flowers or anything. I might do a video, an update. I might do an update on the raspberries because there are many things to learn here. My blackberries are coming up nicely, but I need to come and stick that as well. The blueberry bush has been very, very productive. Like, look at this. So many blueberries to harvest here, so that has been great. All right, guys, there is always more to show than we have time for it. I'm going to cut it here. I think I've shown you everything that is worth seeing, but it's really interesting to see how the garden has changed, how much growth we've had. I mean, look at these raspberry branches. Look at that. Unbelievable. Thank you all for watching, and see you in our next video. Bye bye.